go. I do believe we are live, so I can say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. I thank you for joining me once again on this conscious evolution, finding ourselves in another moment to grow. Specifically, at least inspired by yesterday's stream, thinking about the future. Specifically, thinking about how the future is already made, right? That we, as this community at least, and I do believe many other communities as well, have been actively showing up for a more loving world, right? For a long time. Like it's been a long time coming. And I believe all of this effort, all of this collective, conscious, almost like mindset, reality bending way of choosing to see the world has already shaped the future into what it's going to be, right? And that future is going to be so loving that if we don't know how to cope with being loved that way, it's going to be overwhelming. And then to see these streams, these conscious evolutions, as us actually already knowing that the positive future we want to live within exists. And instead of tripping ourselves out with whether or not it's going to happen or whether or not that future could exist, we could focus instead our intention on getting good at loving one another. And you friends are already pros. So it's nice to have you here. I'm sending you so many lovin's. Let me read something worth saying and then we can start reading some comments. Fear arises from the thought that I am alone, separated. I'm gonna add a little bit of my ad-libbing here, but separated from my future. Yet in reality, it is the future perceiving the present and creating the perception that the future is separate from the present. All right? Mind melting. This is the original. Fear arises from the thought that I am alone, separated from my creator. Yet in reality, it is the creator perceiving the creator. You, the creator, perceiving your creator. This physical form is creating this experience, right? Because your physical form is creating this experience that can seem, apart from everything else, you are perceiving yourself as separate through your perceived creation, creating the perception that God is separate from God. For each particle of God holds the potential of the whole. This present moment holds the potential for a better future, right? And we're showing up for it. I'm proud of you, friends. You make me happy to be a part of this world. Let me say hi. I see Shan and Kristen. I see Nancy and Shell. I see Sam and Jovan. Sending all of you friends so many blessings. It's nice having you. I think I'm gonna put my tablet on the side because the sun is firing my laser at it. And I don't know if it likes that. It says no. It's like, bro, I'm getting warmer. And I've only been here for like a few seconds. There we go. So I'm gonna be like reading your comments sideways. I don't know if that's even worse, but that's the way it's gonna be. It's also in the shadow so I can actually properly see. Meld Monday peeps, love again. Lurky lovin's you. Lovin's you too, Shaw. Thank you for blessing us. I'm already thinking about our beloved Joy Vive. Sending her lovin's right now. Hoping she's doing okay. Hope everyone's having a great day. Thank you, Krista. Even better with you here, dear friend. I like that change up in the thing worth saying, right? Right? Because does the future even exist? Right? Technically, no. The future is just this moment then, right? There is only this moment. There is only the present moment. But because we are in this present moment and we know that there is something like things are going to happen, we see that future as separate from this moment, when in fact it's not. This moment is creating the future we want to live within. And I'm proud of you, friends, for choosing to create a loving future. And from that perspective, where you are now, practice being where you are going. Something like that. Exactly. Exactly, Jovan. What's up with Joy Vive? Her kitty is, I don't know if it already has or is in the path passing away. And yeah, that's never easy to anyone. Sending her lovin's, holding her in my heart still. I don't know if this is morbid to say, but the future might not have Koji in it, but the present moment did, right? And the past moments did as well. I'm trying to attach some sort of understanding in my own mind about how we distinguish, how we want for things to be differently, right? Like, what's better, for something to exist at all, for something to have existed, or for something to exist in the future, right? Like, that's the way that my mind is trying to articulate it. It's like, is there a better place to exist within? Or again, should I realize that all those places exist simultaneously in this moment? Love is true. Koji, gosh, thank you again. Jovan for sending lovin's to her as well. Oh no, I thought my dog might be passing. Friday night. So sorry to hear that. Yours as well, Nancy? It really seems a little bit rough these days, you know. I've been having a conversation or two with many of you, and it seems that we're all collectively going through the motions right now. I've been listening to this track, and it has these few lines, you know, and one of them goes, I asked God for strength, so he gave me challenges to overcome. I asked God for wisdom, so he gave me problems to solve. I asked God for love, so he sent me troubled people to help. I got what I asked for, right? And I feel all of us have been in this process of trying to become stronger within ourselves as these versions of ourselves for one another. And it's this weird joke of the only way for us to get stronger is to do hard things, to experience hard emotions, to go through these motions, even though they might be a little bit uncomfortable right now. Stay strong, dear friends. I want to talk about the future because the future is fucking sweet. Yeah, it is. Oh, we live in the sci-fi future right now, right? Like, we have devices in our hands that used to be actual science fiction, right? Can we just take a moment to really feel into that reality? We live in the future. We live in that beautiful future we've been imagining. Sure, there's like some discrepancies. There's still some things that aren't necessarily completely complete, but it's not broken. It's incomplete. We're actively working towards trying to get it to a state of inclusivity, right? Everybody deserves this better world that we're living in. Oh wow, Nancy, I'm sorry to hear that. What's going on with your doggo? Do let us know, dear friend. I spoke with a neighbor yesterday. They've been in the nursery industry for trees for 30 years. Long story short, he wants to help me. Not only might he have land for me, he has potential rental greenhouse from friends. This could be the beginning of some serious growth for Duck Dad Farms with the least risk to me. Yeah, how about that, Duck? How about that, right? How about that? Me being like, yeah, I fucking told you so. Oh, I fucking I told you. Me being like, Duck Dad, oh, have you tried just like Zen Mode 5000 thing? Right? How about you don't worry about the future, huh, Duck Dad? And Duck Dad being like, are you fucking stupid though? Do you know how expensive shit is? I have to like all of this and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, oh, breathe. And then you continue to breathe. And then your continued breath allows you to meet this beloved neighbor. And then because of all of this time you spent, you know, actively manifesting this idea, this goal you have for the future, you are allowed these opportunities. Bro, I'm so really excited for you right now, man. You have been putting in the effort. This is just the universe reminding you of the amount of work you've been doing. Congratulations to Duck Dad, celebrating him for the work he's doing. We're proud of you, bro. That's amazing, Doug. I'm excited for you. Networking, that passion. Yes. That's how we save the world, right? It's fair and all. It's great even to want to save the world, right? I will save the world. But that might be naive. A little bit, right? And this is me holding a mirror up to my own face. Being like, that's naive, oh. That's fucking naive. But you can help the person next to you, can help the person next to them, and that way you can save the world through the collective effort. And networking is going to be a big part of it. I feel it's the hardest part of it, right? None of us like to ask for help. We have been conditioned uh, in what's that? What's that word that Joe used? Self-made man, right? We've been conditioned to be self-made men, right? And I'm saying men specifically to really drive the point home of the patriarchy, right? No, no, there's no such thing. No man is self-made. No, not a single one of them. Not one. You can't point to one man who made himself, right? What did he just spontaneously start, growing into this world? No, he had a mother, right? Maybe he had a vat. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's vat grown humans walking among us already, right? Maybe he had a vat or whatever. He wasn't self made. There was something made before he was made. And then he was learning from the world, right? Every other single person, even if he learned how not to be, that's still a way of making, right? He's still making ourselves, through the influence of this world. We're doing this together. The future is all of ours. Such a blessed experience, dude. You're making me happy hearing this. Shan, she was very lethargic, wouldn't eat, turned 11 this month. When doggos stop eating, that can be a sign. Anyway, she is rallied, started eating. We went for a walk yesterday. You want to jump on my lap? You want to jump on my lap? What are you doing? Can I help you? You want to jump here? Look at the little face. That face communicates something, right? It's like, I want to do something. I want to do something. Okay. You want to do something on the other side? What do you want to do? Okay, bye bye. See you later. Nancy sending love. Blessed. It took me. It took me going out to network and sell me. Yeah. Thanks, universe. Nothing happened yet, but sure feels good to not be pushing rope uphill for a day. Sending my Dragon Ball Z energy out to all of you. Sending it right back to you as well, at the bear. Happiness shared. Was that yesterday's stream topic? It was, right? Happiness shared. You sharing the happiness that you have in your heart for this work you're trying to do, and that inspiring your neighbor to try and help you. I like how I was kind of like talking, I think, was it yesterday or day before yesterday? Day before the day of yesterday. Yeah, Uncle Becky was still here, I'm thinking, right? Where I was imagining you having like a whole business of basically just planting trees in cities, right? And the fact that you have now a neighbor friend who has been in the nursery industry for trees for 30 years, right? I don't know if he still is or if you have through him access to trees, but that just feels like another puzzle piece clicking into the place where it's supposed to be. Doug love these stories like that. It's true, right? Also, the most vital gas. Thankfully, the gas dissipated. Maybe there was just like a little bit of a stomach bug. I'm happy that your doggo is feeling better, Nancy. Oh wow, Nancy, that's so scary to find your baby like that. I'm happy that they perked up, though. I hope it was just a weird funk, sending love and healing energy their way. Thank you, Shan, for echoing that love. Let me see if I can move this thing back. I'm tripping out. It's doing something to my brain as well. Maybe there's a space for us to just take a moment. Allow ourselves to be calm. Maybe even think about some things that we're grateful for. I'm grateful for the way the light is being caught by the little leaves, changing the shades of green. I'm grateful for how quiet it is, and at the same time, there being little burbies and doves interrupting. I'm grateful for the sun. I intentionally came and sat in the sun today. I felt like I needed some of that warmth, and it is helping. I don't know if it's great for image quality, but it's good for my psyche, my brain. Be happy, being like, yeah, absorb sunlight, keep absorbing sunlight. Maybe I can. It wants to. Like, I have to like really blast it for it to fight the sun out, but I don't know if that's really helpful. Hey, you now, friends. Speeding. It's nice having you here too. Sending you blessings. The only self. I've only been self-made. I was told no one would help me my whole life. Not true though, right? Like so many, not true. Like that's like so much, right? Every single person who bought a plant from you helped. Duck Dan, right? Every single person who ever, had a conversation with you, even shared some loving intention with you, helped. This space, our friends connecting with you helps. I feel it's a matter of what we consider help, right? Maybe in the capacity of the majority, the bulk, the actual hard part of the work, we can admire someone for being self-made in that way, right? Like if, for example, we had to think about these streams. Sure, it was myself who showed up for these days, but I wouldn't even for a second consider it self-made, right? Because it wasn't just made by me. Sure, I had to show up. Sure, I had to do the work. Sure, the effort that was involved in that was still expected of me, right? In that way, I had to motivate myself. Nobody else was motivating me to do this right now. But we are still creating this together. There is no separation, right? Mm-mm-mm. Oh, maybe she just ate something that she shouldn't have. That's probably what I'm thinking as well. I went through the emotional part of letting her go and also praying that she wouldn't always feel I should be better at the latter part. Praying that she wouldn't. Yeah. It's a hard one, unfortunately, right? For me, it's one of those things of, like, I don't know how to say this without it sounding disheartening, right? Like, I grew up in a Christian household, Orthodox Christian household. And on top of that, there is this very big philosophy, mentality around prayer, you know? And the thing that I kept asking myself as a child is why would God listen to some and not to others? Right? Like there are parents praying for their children who have cancer right now, and God won't listen to them, kind of vibe. All right. And there are people who are praying to get their second car, and they'll get their second car, kind of vibe, right? Something material and ethereal, meaningless, versus someone's actual child dying of a horrible disease, right? Why would God give one person what they want and not the other? And it took me a long time to come to the conclusion that what we consider God is love, right? And that the experience of wanting to pray for your child is still an opportunity to love. The fact that your child exists so at all is an opportunity to love. The pain that could be involved in losing them wouldn't be if there was no love, right? And it helped me reframe how I think about prayer and how I think about, divinity, godlike energy, instead of it being like a human perspective of anger or expectation. It became a deep understanding, right, that everything needs to be everything, right? That there is a reality. And this is the weird thing about infinity. I don't know if it's helpful, Nancy, but it's one thing that we can consider. There is a reality where your doggo didn't turn around, right? Where that it wasn't meant to be kind of vibe, right? And that reality, Nancy is crying right now, having lost her doggo. And yet this reality exists simultaneously, right? We get to live in this version of our future, right? And I feel like that's one of the things that I want to echo today as well, thinking about our future, that all potential futures exist simultaneously. And again, what we believe is going to be, in my mind at least, is the most likely scenario. And it's like prayer, right? It's like a certain type of prayer. It's a letting go of certain parts of it and almost like inviting other parts of it. And I feel like the big thing for me, the thing I'm trying to almost like articulate in my own being, is that maybe if anything, prayer shouldn't be an expectation, right? Like an asking for something to happen, as much as it should be an asking of strength within ourselves to be able to deal with anything, right? So no matter what happens, no matter how the circumstances turn out, we are still allowed a sense of peace, a sense of understanding, a sense of calm, lovingness, the ability to endure, right? Again, that one of the definitions for love, for me at least, is the ability to endure, to see sometimes the hardest things, to go through the most painful moments, and to be so loving that I can still endure all of that. Sending you so much love. You're not doing bad. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Just because you're not completely in the prayer doesn't mean that you're wrong in that way. Everyone handles it differently, Nancy. What matters is that it was handled the way that is best for you. Love is true. My tree guy's company specialize in instant shade. He takes and moves giant established trees. I don't know how I feel about that, but I accept that the trees aren't being killed. Okay, it's fine. I motivate you to motivate me. Love is true. Meltmore, if you say Orthodox Christian, it means Eastern Orthodox versus Western Orthodox. You may say fundamentalist or evangelical. I did actually Google what Orthodox means, and Orthodox means stuck to a certain way, right? Let me do it again. Hey Google, define Orthodox. Okay, just making sure my Wi-Fi is still working. No. Hey Google. Hey Google, define Orthodox. Orthodox. Conforming to what is generally or traditionally accepted as right or true, established and approved. Right? So in my family, Christianity is what is right and approved. And there is no other option. Right? Like that's very clear in their mind as well. Like every other option is from the devil, you know? Like the Hindus are worshiping a bunch of demons. And, you know, like all of us being one from the Buddhist perspective and reincarnation, evil. Right? Like that's what I mean of Orthodox, is they believe they have the truth. Another one is of ordinary or usual type, normal. In the Jewish or Judaism is strictly keeping to traditional doctrine and rituals. Yeah, my family is Orthodox in that way as well, right? Eating the body of their, imaginary character every Sunday. Suddenly, mother flashbacks coming through my mind. Alternatively, Google me wrong. I may not have all the nuances. Yeah, so now we have it again. Apparently, it means that they believe in a certain set of things that are true. That's the way that it is. Orthodox Christian is one meaning though, versus just using the word Orthodox. Yeah. Agreed. I don't know if that was necessarily important to the narrative that I was sharing, though. Essentially, just growing up in a household that practices that type of Christianity, right? Prayer and going to church and singing in church and eating the body and, you know, like having Sunday, uh, you know, kindergarten school type of thing, having Christian classes before my actual school classes, having prayer before we go to sleep. Like that's at least in my mind what I think Orthodox, you know, following their rituals, all of the rules that you're supposed to be following. And noticing, you know, how they use prayer, how some things are prayed for and others are not, how prayer is used as a tool, usually when someone is hurt or in the hospital or, you know, it's almost like a bandage. That's the way that I saw it for the longest time, you know, bandage, but also, and I feel like this might be a little bit triggering, begging, right? Instead of it being a hope to learn, right? A hope to understand more deeply our own minds, the way that we're showing up. Hello, Peppy. Hello, Peppy. Woof that. There you go. Love is true, Pepper Woof Dash. And then she's off of my lap again. She almost bumped my water over. You want to get back on my lap again? She wants to play right now. That's what's happening. She's like, yeah, let's do that thing where we play. I want to play. Her. 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 Good morning to you, dear Heather. It's a pleasure having you here. Peppy is being a little spicy bobicy. I just spicy, spicy. I just spicy, spicy, kiss. I just spicy, spicy, spicy. I just spicy. I just spicy, spicy. Oh, you're hurting me. Now you're humping me. What are you doing? What's wrong with you, yo? Relax. Thank you. Yeah, dog whisperer. I am the dog whisperer. I whisper to the dogs. It's a Yudi as well. I'll get you too. Yeah, I'll get you. I'll get you. Hey, Hoopy. Blessings to you too, Brother Bear. It's a pleasure having you here with us. Sending you so much lovings, man. People of planet Earth. The Christian Orthodox Church has a separate calendar from other Christian churches that we follow on the calendar. The more you know. I'm guessing there's probably people that name themselves the Christian Orthodox Church. The church name that my parents had is Achia Es. I don't actually know what it stands for. Hey Google, what does Achia Es Church stand for? Yeah, I should probably spell it out. Hey Google, what does the AGS Church stand for? Sorry, I don't understand. Liar. Achia Es, or in English is AFM, is the Apostolic Faith Mission. Apostologische Geloofszending. Achia Es. Since 1908, it's the first and largest church in the country in South Africa, with 1.4 million members, and is currently established in 28 countries. Yeah, so it's essentially a cult, you know, as all of them are. But this is the cult that I grew up in. Apostolisa. Apostolisa. I can't even say the Afrikaans word. Apostolisa Geloofszending. Apostolic Faith Mission. Geloofszending. That's a pretty cool word. It's like faith sending, right? I guess faith mission. Yeah, we have like a whole thing of, you know, you're supposed to go out and tell other people about how they're not saved. And there is this messed up, you know, fractal that was communicated to me as a child where I was very curious, right? I asked questions. I asked questions that they didn't have answers to, unfortunately, right? And there was one question, one topic about if you deny God, then you're gonna go to hell, essentially, right? And I was like, what about people that don't know about God, right? What about those people? And they were like, oh yeah, they'll be fine, right? Like God will test their character, and they will be judged accordingly. You know, why do you like this, Pippi? What did I do to deserve this? Thank you for the lovin's. I appreciate it. I appreciate your loves. Yeah, thank you. And I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah. So you only go to hell if you deny God after knowing about Him. But as soon as you know about Him, then you're culpable. And I was like, so let me get this right. When people go on missions to go and teach people who know nothing about God, if those people then choose not to believe in God, they go to hell. Pastor is like, if I had a beat, yup. I'm like, that sounds fucking evil, yeah. that sounds like some colonizer bullshit, yo. Is it chilly there? It is actually. It is actually a little bit chilly. I came and sat in the sun to fight the cold, but I'm kind of wishing for a blanket at the same time as well. Sending you lovin's, Heather. Thank you for caring. Zano, blessings to you too. Apostle, apostolic, apostolic, apostolic. There we go. Sounds like Pentecostalism. I don't know that one as well. Melt historically Eastern or Orthodox versus Western, and the Eastern Orthodox maintain its own calendar. It is the Christianity of Russia versus Rome. The more you know. The answer of what about people who didn't hear about Jesus is if you live in the area where Jesus and friends did not visit you, the BDAA rule is in fact. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me that one. I don't know what those letters mean. Uh, let me be comical with it. Since we're just getting random letters. Don't be an asshole. I actually was able to find it out myself. I'm getting humped right now. Peppy, why? What do you mean? What's wrong? What's up, yo? What's up? You getting issues? Oh, I can't help you. I'm sorry. All right, it's not my fractal. You're sweetie. The Orthodox celebrate Christmas in January, for example. Yeah, we don't do that. We follow, capitalism Christmas as well, unfortunately. Puppy. She's being a little needy bobini. So needy bobidi. I'm a needy bobidi bobidi. Oh, so much. My hands are gonna be so dirty. Oh, there's this. Yeah, they're filthy now. Peppy, my hands are so dirty after having pet you. I need to give you a bath again or something. I shower cold, so she would not like that. I have to go and shower in the hot shower. You're drinking the water. There we go. I like your whole outfit today. Thank you, Shan. I also feel it's very fitting. Everything having their own little places. Like it does feel like it's a good one. I'm looking forward to how the flower's gonna turn out. It's gonna be a blue one today. Yeah, I feel like there's something unsaid, right? Maybe the whole experience of talking about the future in general can have that effect. I've been thinking more and more, and I had this conversation with my mom again. That question I asked you friends about the sci-fi, right? Especially the content side that is being produced right now. Like, is there new and creative? Duck that. Is there new and creative sci-fi understandings coming out right now? Right? Like we are, and we have been for so long creating sci-fi works of art, right? Writing, movies, actual works of art, paintings, and kind of like seeing it as a trajectory that as we keep taking steps closer and closer towards the future, the steps we were taking towards end up becoming the present moment, this present moment informing again the future. Again, like let's take Star Trek. We started the stream of that conversation that we have communicators, right, in our hands. We literally get to use these pieces of technology that was predicted decades ago in TV shows, right? And now I'm imagining the vice versa of like the amount of things that we're seeing happen right now, the AI assistants, the novel, very intricate and very useful materials that we can develop, through AI, these devices in and of themselves, eventual, brain computer interfaces. Like we have been writing about these things for long, like for long. And now that we're there, that's what we're going to do. I wonder if humanity is being creative with how it happens or how they think the future is going to kind of like make use of it. I don't think so, right? I feel like it's almost like we have reached a level where we have given ourselves the the information we need to find the future that comes next. But if we find ourselves in that future, like truly, right? Like to the point where we have come to the conclusion that we're there, I feel is where the next level of imagination is really going to flourish. And I imagine what that's going to look like, right? Partly from the perspective of wanting to already be able to think that way, and also partly from a place of fascination for how that round of imagination is going to then move forward and then influence our future once again. I know where the future is going, brain to brain interfacing, so we can insult each other at the speed of thought. Sick. I'm down for it. I'm so down for it. But again, Sam, even though I agree with you, that has been predicted, right? It's been predicted a long time. Let's actually Google. Hey Google, when was the very first mention of BCIs? I'm gonna have to chat GPT that question probably. Thank you, chat GPT. When was the very first mention of brain-computer interfaces in science fiction writing or even prediction? Man, fiction writing or future prediction. The concept of brain-computer interfaces can be tracked back to science fiction writing and future predictions. Oh, man, I think ChatGPT is getting exponentially stupider. That's like embarrassing, dude. One of the earliest mentions can be found in science fiction stories from the mid 20th century, where authors explored the idea of connecting human brains to machines. However, it wasn't until the late 20th. Like, this is not helpful, bruh. Man, like, this is actually kind of like embarrassing right now. Can you give me some proper dates? 1950s to 1960s. The idea of brain computer interfaces start to appear in science fiction literature with authors like Isaac Asimov. That dude is a G. That dude's brain was on some level. Philip K. Dick exploring the concept. So 1950s. That's 70 years ago, right? 70 years ago. There's people who have literally been born and died in that time. And now we're there, right? There are actual people on planet Earth right now who have BCIs, right? Who have brain computer interfaces. They're the people who are the most disadvantaged, people who don't have, control over their limbs. And now they can actually control a computer, for example, using their brain. but it's a little bit inelegant right now. And we're going to see this technology really come to fruition over the next 20 years. And then again, right, how is that as like a step for humanity going to influence the next round of what we imagine possible? There we go. Lurk mode for a bit. Love you, Nancy. Going to say love you with the speed of thought. Sounds so loving too. Exactly. I'm embarrassed for you, ChatGPT. I'm happy that you like that, Zano. You're so wholesome, Shan. I just thought of cat pictures and insult meme fights. 4747. I'm on 7247 on the timestamp. 7 friends watching right now. 42% on that one. And it's day 942, on the stream topic as well. I'm melting right now. Just allowing myself a moment to be grateful for where we are. Longing for humanity. It's been on my mind a lot. Like I feel like there's so many questions to be asked through that medium. This is something that people don't really think about. At least I don't think they do, right? I haven't heard anybody else really talk about this concept. But things that people don't think about with BCIs, brain-computer interfaces, is they imagine it in that sense. It's a brain to computer interface, right? But only calling it that, at least in my mind, is like imagining it as a keyboard and a mouse, right? Like that's kind of simple. I don't think any of us have ever thought about a keyboard and a mouse that drastically changing our lives, right? And then to give you the idea that I have for BCIs, I believe it's going to be the next step in our connection to ourselves. But the real benefit of having a BCI isn't going to be in connecting to the internet and being able to pull information from that or being able to control a computer with your mind. It's going to be connecting to yourself. That if you, for instance, have a BCI that covers both hemispheres, right? And they can technically communicate independently. Usually, your brain has this almost like algorithm that it runs to use as little energy as possible. And then from that energy conservation perspective, creating certain pathways, right? Where information is supposed to flow from this system to this system to this system to this system. And that pathway creates a certain linear way of processing this information. But we realize, and we know now, that this informational system isn't the linear one, right? It is cyclical in nature. So if we can connect parts of our brains to other parts of our brains that usually don't communicate when they receive a certain input, right? For instance, maybe, and we know this about our brains as well, the same part of your brain that registers for cute, right? Like, oh, that thing is cute, also registers as aggression, right? Or like wanting to squeeze the living life out of something. Right, and those two brain hemispheres, because they're so close to one another, get stimulated at the exact same time. That's why if you see something super cute, you can like gnash your teeth together, right? Like a biting. Like it's already happening to us, right, on a biological level. And that can be seen as a bad thing, at least in my mind. I don't think it's helpful for me to have that teeth gnashing feeling when I see something super cute. But we can do the same thing for maybe our sight or maybe sound. For example, the same inputs that get put into your auditory, processing network, you can put those same signals into your visual network. And then instead of just listening to music, you can see it. The part of your brain that processes visual information gets information from your audio network, literally decoding it from its perspective into what visually that music is supposed to look like. And that maybe sounds scary, but in my mind, I feel like that could be, again, the next step of what it means to be a human. The future, right? And the way I see it again is it will allow us to love things more. It might also make us extremely information hungry, right? You can think of it like unsatisfied, even in one perspective. That if you have access to that much information, for example, if you have access to listening to music both as sound and as a show and as a smell and as the best tastes you've ever had and as the goosebump feelings throughout your body, are you going to want to listen to music just as music, right? And we can ask those questions and we can allow ourselves to feel the way we do about them. But I'm willing to find out, to see what happens, to believe in the loving future that we are all capable of. ChatGPT is getting stupider because of the collective of people helping it learn. Nope, that's untrue, unfortunately. You know, the people you had so much confidence in. Unfortunately, you're wrong, Doug Dad. It has been a basically, and I've done the research about this as well. I do understand it. It's an optimizing thing, right? Like as they continue to optimize those large language models, they make them use less resources, right? And it's like teaching something how to talk. Like this sounds insensitive to say, but even unintelligent people can still talk, right? The quality of the conversation you might be able to have with an unintelligent person might not be as stimulating or as deep as the conversation you might have with Einstein or Oppenheimer, for example. But you can still have a conversation kind of vibe. And I feel and I know that's actually what's happening. Is one, it's a political correctness slash uh, what's the word? Like almost manipulation from the creator side, right? To make sure that it's safe, you know, it has a certain output, right? And that can be pretty dystopian in a way as well. That's why it's good that there are so many other companies working on the same technology at the same time. But at the same time, it is going to give you worse inputs or worse outputs because it is not allowed to actually give the full spectrum of what it's capable of. Oh, burn. The only reason I can imagine investors wanting to develop the interface is not to inform to all, but to control and press the pleasure button in our brains so we don't mind. So we don't mind as they work us more and give us less. Because I work in the cellular smartphone industry and I have knowledge of the pure money motivations. They're evil. I'm dirty from it. Dark mood shell? Yes, Sam. Okay, that's an answer. I hear you, Shell. I do. I just don't see it as sustainable, right? Like I feel these companies, at the end of the day, are going to need adopters, right? It's like acceptance. It's like a brand recognition. It's like a familiarity with. And if we as human beings see people spazzing out, right, becoming lesser versions of themselves, then we as people will decide to not do certain things, right? Like there's no controlling us, Shell. Like the best control they figured out is money, right? That's the joke. That is the joke. They already have everything they need to control us. They don't need brain computer interfaces. They have money. Right? That is the thing controlling us, not brain computer interfaces. Microwave antennae can cause the cooking of eyeballs and other badassness. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Doesn't mean it cooks our eyeballs. Not the like, yeah. This is fortunately well studied. Shell over here of the Black Mirror version. Yeah, very unlikely. Is all I'm going to say. Very unlikely, right? Like if anything, it could, help us with some of our mental issues. For instance, one of the ones that I look forward to is being able to stop my tinnitus, right? Which is going to improve my quality of life. That doesn't mean it's bad, right? Should I have tinnitus for the rest of my life? This constant, unending. It's just like there. It's just screaming in my head. Always. Always. unrelenting, never ceasing. So, right, I'll see. You'll get to see. You'll get to literally see me in the future, having had these, computer interfaces implanted inside of my body. And if you see me drastically changing in a way that you think is like, oh, melt is lost, then you get to decide not to. Right? That's the whole point of this stream, is we get to consciously evolve together. And I do not believe in those realities, Shell. I just don't, fortunately. I imagine seeing music like being swirling mandalas. I was imagining the same, like swirling mandalas, kind of fractal flowers, kind of vibe. Yes, Sam, there are many stupid fights, like I insist the microwave be off while workers are near. They say, oh no, then people won't have streaming data on their phones. Explain to me the beef, like I'm 5. Microwave antennas can cook eyeballs and other, yeah. I'm the worst explainer sometimes. Workers heating burritos? Nah, workers on rooftops and poles. Data is on the microwave, great, ionic radiation. The other antennas carry voice, they are combined on the phone. Yeah. Right, microwaves are pretty well understood. And at the wavelengths we use to communicate with them, they literally pass through buildings, right? Which is a good thing. It means it passes through your body as well. And you can think of it as a bad thing, or you can actually consider that there is an infinite amount of cosmic background radiation ceaselessly blasting your body. Do you know what neutrinos are? Okay, like let me actually do the proper, like Google of that. Hey Google, how many neutrinos fall on my body in a second? Sorry, I didn't understand. Liar. Yeah, there we go. About 100 trillion neutrinos pass through our bodies every second. Right? Let's just think about that. 100 trillion neutrinos. 100,000 billions of neutrinos through your bodies ceaselessly. Right? And here you are standing, living. Right? That thing is literally blasting me with radiation right now. There it is. I'm getting radiated. It's radiating me so much, it's literally lighting up my skin with all of that radiation. Here I am, alive. All right? Microwaves are exponentially less powerful than literally our sun. Literally our sun. So you're insisting that they be safe, and they're like, nah, maquette pictures. There is a way to bring these people back down to earth. I get you. I feel like some days this is our heaven, being given a beautiful earth and blessed for our senses. Then I see a technocratic hell that we are all death marching towards for money. It's how you view life. It's the perspective you take, right? I see it as a part of everything. And that's the point. And that's why I keep sharing that over and over and over again in the stream. And I understand that you friends probably get tired of it, right? But that really is the way that it's meant to be. Everything with infinity, right? And if you didn't believe that this part of the everything was worthy, then you wouldn't be. You wouldn't get to see. You wouldn't get to breathe. You would not be. And yet here you are. Why? Why would you be here if there was no love to be experienced? Why would you be here if love wasn't true? Right? Like, we can believe in all of these technocratic hells if we want to, or we can believe love is true. Right? That really is how simple it is. And you can call me naive, for believing that way. But I've shown myself over and over again that if I believe in the worst case scenario, that we are all doomed, that there is no hope for humanity, guess what? I feel that way, right? Not because someone was telling me that, not because someone was trying to get me feel that way, because I feel that way. Because I was the one echoing that belief system about my own reality. And surprise, surprise, the more I echoed that in my own mind, in my own heart, the worse I felt, to the point of suicide, to the point of hating those who loved me, literally hating those who loved me and wanting to kill myself so that they can see just how much they miss me. Right? Like that's some broken ass shit, yo. Like that's so fucked up. And yet changing my way of seeing this world rapidly and to the point of almost like shock changed the way that I see this world, realizing that love is true. Not only from the perspective of, like some sort of idealistic, hippie woo woo nonsense, but very much from a deep intrinsic understanding about where it is we are right now. In my mind, the fundamental nature of the universe. Look at this. There's a creature. There's a creature who's wagging her little tail because of how happy she is to be exploring this world. Right? Does it look like she's worried about a technocratic hell? Now, she's worried about burbs. She's worried about little mice running around. Right? And is her life any worse for not having all of these experiences, the content, the, novel food that we get to eat? No. No, because consciousness shows up for love. That there are still moments to love regardless of how you choose to see it. You just have to be willing to see it, to look, to pay attention. My wife worked for Boeing a long time ago. She would have me come with when they would take people out from out. The spouse of my wife's coworker was a Boeing engineer. I've been making jokes for years about Boeing's secret death ray. I asked what we could tell me about. He laughed and said, "Fuck it. Yeah, we have it." Like 2 months later, Boeing announced it as a satellite killer. Damn, your tinnitus is a cruel mistress. It is, in part, right? Having my reality ceaselessly screaming at me can be seen as a bad thing. But apparently, that screaming sound is my actual brain literally listening to my own neurons firing, right? So if my neurons weren't firing, which would be less than ideal, I wouldn't have tinnitus, right? So what do I want more? No tinnitus or no neurons firing? And from that perspective, again, love is true. Thank you for the tinnitus universe, in fact, right? I accept. I accept it completely. Yeah, dude, there's also nuclear weapons. I'm significantly more impressed by nuclear weapons than I am by death rays, right? Like lasers, high-powered lasers have been a long thing, dude. Like it's been around for a while now. And you can power a laser up enough to literally cause fusion, for example. Never mind even shoot a hole through a person. But you can treat tinnitus. I've tried. I have tried. I have done all of the research. I have seen all of the sites that want to sell me remedies. Yeah, believe me, I've tried, dear friend. Unfortunately, none of them have worked for me. But BCIs is one of the things that might actually. You basically input into the audible or the audio processing side of your brain the same frequency that my brain is outputting as the tinnitus sound. Switching it off essentially. They need you to bat for them. You're a good fit. Strong women are very attracted to me. It's just a thing I notice. I like how people know what kind of art they like. Love is true. I'm freaking so happy just reading that words actually. I knew they were a reason you radiated because I said so. Energy shell. I have to make tough decisions and then live with any consequences. I have no tolerance for risk to workers. I feel that. Unironically, the site I'm thinking of, Sam, is next to Alien Fresh Jerky, and that business is building a UFO-shaped hotel right next door. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a popular one, for the foreseeable future. I heard that tinnitus is the ability to hear the sound or frequency of the universe. I thought it was a lovely thought. That's the way I've been thinking about it as well, Shan, to be completely honest. I think of it as like either hearing my own neurons or ceaselessly being tuned into the exact same frequency, right? Because my tinnitus haven't changed my whole life, right? It's been the same sound, that one. It's like, sounds like 20,000 hertz or something. It's like very high pitched. It's not that loud, fortunately, right? It's about as loud as my voice is to you in my head. So it's not like screaming, right? It's more like presence in a weird way. And I've also had that same conclusion, Shan, where I was like, yeah, maybe it's a good thing because it gives me maybe some sort of sense of stability in my own mind, no matter where I am. In the same way your breath is stable, in the same way gravity makes you feel stable. I just have a sound in my brain ceaselessly screaming. There's also beliefs that tinnitus can be your brain, almost like upping the gain of the amount of information that's received, and that up in gain brings noise with it that ends up being the tinnitus. Oh man, Shell, the shenanigans one could pull. Oh, now I see it. I would 100% want to dress in alien outfits and just, I would probably, what I would do? I would just like be comical about it. Me and a homie dress in an alien outfit, and then like we basically drag camping chairs enough so that they can make noise and people might be curious enough to come outside and check. And then we drag these camping chairs to, gray aliens or whatever. And we put our chairs down and we light a joint, and me and this alien just having chats with one another, and people being like, I figured you thought that too, Mel. Love is true. Thank you, Shan, for echoing it in any way, right? Like I've had to think about all of the ways of how I can see it as a win, because I went through a time, like especially in high school, uh, it came with like a bunch of different things. I started getting really into research around how to be happy, essentially, right? The chemicals that people put in their bodies, the different things that end up, bringing us down or allowing us a sense of comfort. And one of the things that was causing me a lot of distress in my teenage years is the fact that I have this unrelenting scream in my head, right? I can't escape it. And I did the research. I tried to find, all of the apparent remedies, all of the reasons, that you're having tinnitus, essentially, basically went through the whole fractal, and I don't really know what changed other than accepting it as just a part of the reality. And then I got like an ear infection in both of my ears. And it was like I was essentially deaf to the world, right? Maybe not completely deaf, but muted. The world was extremely muted. And then my tinnitus got bad, right? Because then it felt like torture, essentially. And after I basically came out of my ear infection, not being tortured quite as much anymore, helped me accept it a little bit from the perspective of it could be worse, right? And that really did help as well. That's what my ear infection was like last year. It's so brutal, right? And it's one of those things that other people can't see, right? If you have a broken leg, and there's like a bone sticking out of the flesh, I'm sorry, right? People are gonna be like, "Oh shit, that looks bad, yo. That looks so bad." But if you have tinnitus, nobody can see that, right? How are people supposed to understand that you essentially have nails in your brain, right? Like that's what it feels like sometimes, especially at that stage. Like maybe not a nail, but like a drill actively buzzing in your brain. 1111. Love is true. You want to sit on my lap? There you go. Let's pull a card. Play some kalimba. And then close the day stream off. Having practiced to be more loving as individuals. can't imagine this is comfortable when I have to lift my hand. Here you go. Look at this kitty patootie. Card time. Yeah. It'd be card time. Time for the card. This one. Card number 11. Weirdly enough, French toast sticks, right? How about that? Double, triple 11. Shan, I know some of y'all hear the frequencies. And so when mine acts up, it's just another hook that allows me to send love to you all. There we go. All right. Sometimes we have them just like starting in one ear. Maybe you friends have experienced that, right? When you suddenly have like a happening in your ear, right? Now imagine that in both sides forever. Right, that's what happens. And then sometimes I have those extra frequencies in my ears on top of the other ones, and it makes them even more noticeable. Light purple. I mean, the flowers are. The flowers are light purple. So I don't think you're too far off. The wild orchids. There's dragonflies. Beautiful flowers. A star tetrahedron in the middle. I think so, at least. No, I don't think this is a star tetrahedron. Some other symbol. It has a star tetrahedron in it, but I think there's more to it. No, just straight up star tetrahedron. Something hidden. I did mention that it feels like there's something unsaid a little bit earlier, right? Lush and verdant, these wild orchids honor the exquisite beauty. Orchids, sorry. What will be revealed? Or what is being hidden from you? I think it disconnected. This card asks you to look within and contemplate what you may be hiding or what is being hidden from you. I am hiding that even though I don't know what the future looks like, I would like to believe I do. Right? Because I go through the same stuff. I'm not Superman. I think even Superman would go through these things, right? I still worry about the future. I do, you know. I just don't let one, those worries take hold, and two, I especially don't share those worries with other people. And I feel from that, our Wi-Fi has been atrocious today. It's been off for like multiple hours. There is no sense of trickery or lies. Nevertheless, something you have not considered may be affecting your inquiry. View the beauty of these wild orchids, and ask your inner knowing to uncover things hidden so that you may gain a broader perspective of your current situation. Simply recognizing that you are holding back may prompt your awareness to reveal what has been unseen. Your willingness to bring awareness to reveal, your willingness to bring awareness to light things concealed may open the doors of your perception and strengthen your ability to experience the wholeness of the situation. I worry that I'm not good enough. I worry that I'm not good enough for this future we're heading into. Right? And it usually happens from this moment. A sense of if this, then that. Right? And then I misinterpret information. There we go. We switched over to mobile data because my Wi-Fi isn't good enough. That my Wi-Fi isn't good enough. That I'm not entertaining enough. Right? Little mind trips we tell ourselves. what we choose to believe. The orchids. Joe, I thought that too. The frequencies. Sending love to one another. Love is true. Your friends ceaselessly impress me with the amount you love this world. Let's play some kalimba. With the difficulty we've had potentially in streams, I don't know if the whole stream has been extremely unwatchable because of my Wi-Fi connection or something, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reality. Hopefully the mobile data is a little bit better. Is Casey still here? Heather? I don't know. Hopefully. Maybe we can send her some more loving energy. I know. Thank you, Shan. Thank you for reminding me as well. It means more than you know. Let's play some kalimba. Skibop. Kalimbaing. Done. It's always nice to have you friends joining me for these moments. What even is good enough, Melt? I think you're a great person. No need to have these intense standards unless you're a glutton for punishment. It's not even that. It's more an awareness of how much I love you, friends, and an awareness of how much it hurts. to feel like I'm not loved in the same way, right? And then instead of it being an anger as to, I ought to be loved this much for who I am, it gets reframed into, how can I be worthy of more love? Right? And then that narrative usually takes me to a place of, you're not. You're not worthy right now of more love. Right? There is a limit to how much you were allowed to receive. And I don't know if that's true or if it's my ego conditioning, but it is something I'm actively working on. And you, friends, help more than you know. Look up SMART goals. I do know the SMART goals. Let me see if I can think about them without having to search them. S, structured. M, manageable. Time-based for T. Realistic for R. Actionable for A. Let's actually go and look. Hey, Grace Han. Hey, Google. Can you give me SMART goals acronym definitions? That's probably the incorrect way to ask for it, but here they are. Specific. There we go. Measurable. I think I said manageable. In my mind, they can be interchangeable, but technically they're not. Achievable, relevant, and time bound. Yeah. Those are good things to remind ourselves of. You're completely right, Zano. I have exposed myself to that fractal. But the thing is, it's very specific. It is easily measurable. It is achievable. It is relevant. But it's the time bound thing where I get stuck. Right? Because I feel like that's unrealistic. Because specific, what do I want? Every single person housed, fed, with access to enough energy, healthcare, and community. Very specific. Measurable. Does a person have access to food, shelter, energy, healthcare, community? Measured. Achievable. Is there enough resources on Earth to feed, house, energize, healthcareize, communitanize every single person? Yes, it is achievable. Hard, surely, but definitely achievable. Relevant. Name something more relevant. Time bound. Boom. And it's like hitting a wall, being like, bro, how do I time bound literal world change? How can I be enough to make these things come to fruition? What am I supposed to do? Right? Am I enough to do it? Am I smart enough? Do I have the skills? Will people actually show up and listen? My ear starts ringing loudly. I receive it as a reminder to check my balance. It's like a little alarm for my thoughts that start to stray too far from my center. Hidden blessings and such. Love is true. Massive amounts of hug and shiny fruit. Love you, Jaju. Sending you so many blessings, Brother Bear. It's nice having your name here. While I was playing today's kalimba, I was like, if only Joe Schmo was here to hear this right now. I don't know if you were, but it's nice having you. I like that, Jaju. The creative ways we realign. Humor me. Look up SMART goals. Start there. Haven't I started there? And that's the thing that I'm struggling with, Zano. Am I doing it wrong? Right? Because I have been paying attention to those, ways of setting goals. I just feel my goals are a little bit unrealistic sometimes, right? Unrealistic to expect it of this soft, perishable, getting tired, needing to eat food being, right? Like, it's a little bit brutal. Love you, Melty. Thank you for being so consistent, considerate of your contributions. You were walking, talking, breathing, blessing, my friend. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for being the exact same thing, bro. You make me happy. Lurk mode, I'm creating. Proud of you, Grace Hand. Blessings. Wow, so close. Awesome. Thank you. Zano. Yeah, like I'm there. I'm there for it. I really am, Zano. It's not that I'm unaware of these things, cognitive behavioral therapy as well, the emotion wheel shared by Sensane and Shell. I do pay attention to these things, but I find it hard to get over what I expect of myself, right? It's like if then that, right? If this is the change you want to see, then this is who you'll have to be, right? And I don't feel like I am that person, at least not fully, right? Or at least I don't know how to become that person necessarily. Imposter syndrome, right? It comes for all of us like a thief in the night, stealing our joy, stealing our trust in ourselves. Been stuck on this lately. We only allow ourselves the love we believe we're worthy of. Don't cap out your love potential. You are worthy of the love that you cultivate. Echo, Joe. Yeah, that's true. You're always enough to be loved, Mel. Love you, Shell. Same's true for you. Okay, then find small miracles within that, chomping one small win at a time. Every day, little by little, moment by moment. Jovan, practice loving without margins, unspecified and unmetered love for the existence of life itself. Love is free, love is abundant, love is everywhere. Look at that sun setting. Sicketh. Now, if that doesn't stimulate love, then I don't know what will, right? Look, the sun is literally setting on my side of the world as it's rising on your side of the world. You literally get to have the light that is now leaving me. And I don't cry. I don't, no, that's unfair. Give me my sun back, America. You have so much, America. Give me my sun back. You don't need extra sun. You don't need more. I want more. No, we share. We share our sun. We share our planet. Right? It's really not that hard. And it frustrates me endlessly sometimes to imagine, how much we are struggling. In time of struggle, maybe start over. You are so strong and have the ability. Love is true. I believe. Thank you for echoing, Zano. May your cup fill as they pour. I love you all so bigly and dearly, muchly and fully. Love is true. You all fill up my cup. A SMART goal is something that should be achieved in maximum 1 year, but ideally 90 days. Yeah. Welcome to my dilemma, Doc Dad. I've been showing up for this for multiple 90 days. It's like been 10 90 days now. It's going towards 11 90 days. And my brain is like, bruh, you're failing. It's like, no, I'm not failing. I'm actively preparing for the future we have already created, right? To bring it back to today's whole stream topic, we have already created that reality. Love you, Nancy. Thank you for spending these moments with us. We'll see you again soon. Joe, when I used to sneak into my dad's truck and play around on the CB radio. That was my handle. Love and Cup. Thank you. That's what you're experiencing, Melt. It's not a SMART goal. That's what we call a sales bag. Goal in sales bag. Big, hairy, audacious goal. Yeah, it's true, dude. But I'm gonna be living for the rest of my life, and that's what I'm gonna have as my goal for the rest of my life. Right? Is it big? Yes. Is it hairy? Very much so. Is it audacious? 100%. Is it my goal? Yes, it is. Right? And I'm not going to stop having that as a goal just because it's big and audacious. It's still what's expected of me. I am breaking it up in smaller pieces, right? I'm breaking it up in move your body, give yoga classes for free. You can't pay me if you want to, but you don't need to. Have conversations, consciously evolve for free. You can't pay me, you don't need to. Make art, that's the one thing you have to pay for. Put my foot fucking down. I'm sorry. I make art every day, write poetry, right? And those are the goals that I kind of like break my larger goal up in. Like how am I supposed to feed the world, house the world, give energy to the world, connect community with the world, or give healthcare to the world through conversation, meditation and yoga and art? I don't know. But those are the things that I find myself attracted to. Those are the things that I love to do, right? And I do believe, again, it's going to take all of us. And I get to play but a small role in this whole that we are a part of. And I'm going to keep banging my drum, essentially, right? That's what I'm here doing. Showing up, showing up for love. Very love it is true. You think those truckers knew little girls were pretending to be truck drivers? We were in a pickup. That's hilarious. Duck Dad. That's pretty huge news for you, man. I'm excited for your new opportunity to expand and stabilize your operations, Brother Bear. I'm so happy to hear that you're reading the top comments, seeing Brother Duck Dad's fractal as well. Shan, with her have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I for sure love you all so very super duperest, extremely enormously whoppingly considerably cosmically hulkingly dearly melt in all of you oh so very incredibly amazingly startlingly stunningly sensationally incomprehensibly gorgeously radiant blazingly magically magical divine friends as we love you. Dear Shan, thank you. Thank you for sending those messages, for sending all of us that love, for allowing me the opportunity to read it to us. It will take us, it will take all of us. Well, it will take all of us. Maybe that's where I get stuck as well. It's like, why? Why not all of us already? Why? Why confusions? Why not? For sure. Set goals. Sometimes we achieve them. Sometimes we do not. Failure doesn't indicate wasted time. Contrarily, it illuminates areas that need refinement for your next attempt. Try and fail and try again. That's also happening, Brother Bear. I have a goal. Show up every day. Make art every day. Give yoga every day. And I have been pretty consistent with that goal, right? I don't fail. I don't fail. Maybe that's the part of myself that's screaming at me as well, where the fact that we haven't saved the world yet, or haven't created quite the future, the loving future that we want to exist in right now, right? Knowing that I'm in the future of the version of me who started 942 days ago, and I can feel him. I can be like, yes, I feel you, bro. We're still heading there. Oh, we're still on our way, man. We're still gonna have to do it. But because I'm willing to do it, because I have that unfailing nature inside of me, it makes the version of me that's critical more powerful as well, right? Because it has evidence. It has evidence being like, look at this, bro. Look at all of this. You're not failing. What's up? Why do you suck? And I'm like, bro, oh, please, scrutiny. Please. Those are beautiful goals, Melty. Love is true. Love you, Zano. Thank you for echoing these goals with me. Melt, since March, I have been here every day and getting lessons in love and kindness as I have combed through my me and become the life that I want. I love you so much, Melt, for being reliable. We live in a very unstable time of reality right now. Being able to be that for you is a bigger honor than I can say, dear friend. Thank you to you. Connor, blessings to you too, bro. What a blessing seeing your name. Don't let substandard results discourage you from setting new goals and trying again. I don't really think there has been any substandard results necessarily, right? There is just expectations and what you can think of as egoic needs, right? That is technically what unmet expectations are to me, unfortunately. And smart and funny and inclusive and thoughtful and goofy and serious and challenging and easy with your love. Being reliable and smart and funny and inclusive and thoughtful and goofy and serious and challenging and easy with your love. Thank you for seeing me, Shao. Thank you for reminding me we don't fail, we learn. Yeah, there we go. Love is true. I'm not judging you, Melt, but you really don't have the understanding of SMART goals that you think you do. What you're saying is that it's too big to achieve, so we need to break it down smaller. I have years of teaching the SMART goal program to salespeople. I would love to help you if you would like. What you said shows that you're stuck, which is a good coach would say. Let's reevaluate. I mean, bro, like you unfortunately, I don't share everything, right? Going on in the background. That's still going to happen, right? There are other things, other goals actively being manifested right now. That's also happening, right? And at this point in my time, I am on a farm, okay? I have only a certain amount of resources, exponentially fewer resources than most people in America. For instance, if you get paid minimum wage, you're earning a lot, like maybe 4 times as much as me, basically, right, a month, if you're being paid minimum wage. So starting from that point is difficult, right, especially if you have larger goals. And with the goals that I have, one of the biggest things that I'm going to have to do is actually talk to people, right? And again, I do not have a car and I'm living on a farm. I am far away from any city. So I have started. I have a SMART goal, right? To actually head towards more civilization. That is happening. But again, time bound. I am bound to time. Things need to happen before those things can happen as well. It's not that I don't have an understanding of it. It's just that I have an understanding of it, right? There are certain limitations that I have to heed in myself. There are only certain things that I can do at this point in my journey right now, right? And it would be unrealistic for me to expect more of myself, especially when it comes to, for instance, talking to our political leaders, right? Like I can be like, yeah, I want to talk to my political leaders and encourage them to install solar, right? But they're not going to do that because there's no financial incentive for them to do so. All right. So now I have I have failed my SMART goal because what? It's not achievable because of people, right? Like again, the whole self-made man thing, right? It's a certain level of expectation we have to kind of like bring onto ourselves. It's not a misunderstanding. It's just a understanding of where I am right now. Mm-mm-mm. Staying healthy, hydrated, safe, and loving. Bless. If you're practicing now, what we're planning on going, I'm happy to be here with you. Same. Big goal without a path isn't a goal, it's a dream. Get you, bro. Sending you lovings. Oh gosh, Doc, now that you mentioned it, my dad was huge on SMART goal strategy, core memory unlocked. Of course, talking about him being a grafter. Say your big, hairy, audacious goal is to run an ultra marathon 100 miles. Your SMART goal should be something like run 5K, and then in that SMART goal should be the steps to get you to that 5K. This is ultimately working you towards your big, hairy, audacious goal, but not wasting your mental energy spinning your wheels towards things that won't help you get there. Yeah, Doc Dad, I know. You think this isn't going to help me get there? Your opinion. You think my art isn't going to help me get there? Your opinion. You think yoga won't get me there? Your opinion. Right? I have tried many different things. I have meditated on what I'm supposed to be doing. It's going to take time. And if I do something that makes me feel less than aligned, then I'm going to not do it. Right? My power is in doing things every day. And I do the things which I love every day. That's the whole point of my philosophy, right? I'm not going to do things that I don't love. I refuse as a principle, right? That doesn't make me bad at setting SMART goals. It makes me aligned with what I know is true within myself. And you can say, oh, yeah, if you have that mentality, you won't achieve anything. I can say, not true, right? Because I've already achieved this moment. And I know that. And that, even if it's the only thing I get, and I've shared this fractal with a few friends as well, right? Maybe I should bring it back before we end today's stream. I after the very first year, the first year of doing these, I opted into not earning anything, right? It was the intention that I set at the start of the year to stream every day for the whole year without earning anything, right? And I realized that I was privileged enough to be in a position where that could be an option. If you have a family and a child right now, not earning any money for a year isn't an option, but I don't, right? Have a family and a child. So that was how I showed up, literally showing myself. And you can, again, from a SMART goal perspective, say that that's a bad goal to have, right? It is achievable to earn absolutely no money for the whole year. Achievable. Do you want to achieve that, right? And if I'm going to be a CEO type, a businessman, someone who is only doing it for the sake of achieving monetary goals, right? Being able to make money, getting to see the progress, essentially, right? Then I wouldn't have done this. I showed myself that I want to do this more than anything, more than money, more than some sort of conceptualized goal, even that this is the goal, connecting with human beings. That is how we achieve those goals. There is no other way. There is no other way other than connecting with human beings. There's no, you cannot do it any other way, right? And I would love for you to correct me on that. But if you can show me a way to help feed every person in the world, to help house every person in the world, to make sure every person in the world has energy, access to healthcare and community. If you think you can do that without people connecting, you're illusioned, deeply so, right? There is going to be no savior coming and pressing a button and then suddenly all of those things start happening, right? And there's no SMART goal that you can set to create that button. It's going to be a day by day showing up for humanity, showing up for human connection kind of thing, right? And I'm okay with it taking 1,000 years. Right? Like we've experienced significantly more time suffering as humanity. If I can fix it in the next 1,000 years, and I do believe I'll have the time to, right? Even if it's not this version of me doing it anymore, I'll spend the next 1,000 years working on that goal, right? That's my time bound, 1,000 years. Sure, you can say it's not a SMART goal if it's not happening in 90 days, but I don't think in 90-day time frames, unfortunately, right? Sure, that's a luxury that I get to be in, to not have to think in 90-day time frames. Doesn't mean it's applicable to everybody else, but for the goals that I have, I get it, right? It's not going to be easy. Smalier. Yes. And that one's for free. Living in a marginalized structure of success is a good way to become blind to infinite possibilities of manifestation. There we go. Yes, Josh Mo. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, universe, for Josh Mo. I completely agree, bro. Like that's kind of the point. Joe, I hate that I do it, so antithetical to my core, but it fucking works. Yeah, right? Like if you want to make pancakes, essentially, right? Then it's very easy to plan out the steps and then to make yourself pancakes. But if you want to bring global change, it's not so clear, right? And we do not have, as an individual, the mental capacity to know everything that we need to do and plan for in order to get to that point. And then again, I'll bring it back to today's whole stream point, that we are now, in this moment, preparing ourselves for the future that we've already created, right? That I do believe that this future I'm talking about, right, with those 5 goals, food for all, housing, healthcare, community, and energy, right? Those 5 goals have been met. That I think of as a more loving world than the one we're in right now. I believe that future already exists. It's done. That's how much I believe in it. It's done, right? There's nothing I have to do. I can literally sit here, and to bring it back to that point I wanted to share with you friends, after that first year, right, of going through this whole process, I had to ask myself, is this true, right? What I'm doing right now, is this true? Especially since I had to spend a year not earning a single dollar, right? That was like, I was what, 20, 23? Yeah, I was 23 that year, and seeing literally the 23-year-olds that I went to high school with getting married and having kids, I had to really sit down with myself and ask myself, is this goal that I'm pursuing right now actually going to get me to where I want to go? And I took 4.44 grams of mushrooms on that New Year's, and I sat with it. I meditated. And in that meditation, it showed me two branching realities. The first one, I'm technically spoiling the way that the mushrooms revealed the information to me, but I'll give it to you the way I experienced it. It showed me my life as I'm living it right now, right? And at that point, I haven't started making the art. I haven't started giving the yoga classes either, right? It was just this stream that was at the forefront of my mind at that point. And it showed me how for the rest of my existence, the only thing I chose to do is do that this one stream every day. And it showed me how I lived that life here on the farm. I didn't move anywhere. I just stayed right here on the farm for that whole life. And it showed me showing up day by day by day by day by day by day. And then it showed me on my deathbed, surrounded by people that loved me. And then I died. And in that moment, I had such a deep sense of, this is good. I am happy to die this way. And then it was like the curtains closed in front of me, and it opened back up again. And I was this version of myself again. And it showed me again living my whole life. But this time, radically different. I started doing more and more things. I started going out to more and more places, connecting to more and more people, getting to do more and more on an actionable, tangible way for the world. And then it showed me how I died with loved ones of my life surrounding me. And I was like, yeah, that's good, right? And the way that that registered to me is that I'm willing to do this, even if it's just this, for the rest of my life, and I will get to die happily, knowing that I achieved my goal, my smart goal on earth. That was what I was supposed to achieve, right? And it showed me that even if I achieve exponentially more, I am going to die the exact amount of happy either way, right? To kind of like let that pressure off myself. And it was after that mushroom trip that I completely, conformed to the understanding that that's what I'm going to do now, right? My purpose is to show up every day for the rest of my life. Because if I stop showing up for the rest of my life, that means I'm dead. Right? So then I can't show up for life anymore. So if I'm alive, show up for life. Easy peasy, right? Doesn't have to be complicated. We end up overcomplicating it in our own minds, setting arbitrary goals, believing that achieving those goals is going to make us happier. My neighbors are ultra marathoners. Mel, please check out my fabric purchases and makes me happy. Let me check it out. I am so cold. My fingers are freezing, but I'm doing good. I feel like I'm growing more powerful. More. Let's see. Ooh, that means some nice weeds. That means some fat. Ooh, easy. Okay. This is the first one, and I like this one. But I was like, yeah, that's nice, right? It was like yeah, that's nice. And then I saw the second one, and my brain was like, yeah, that's nice. No, that's nice. Look at that fabric. Yes, see, I love this, Shell. I love this. If you make a dress out of this, I will straight up wear a dress. I won't care. Being able to make flowers out of that would melt my brain. That's so cool, Shell. Yeah, that makes me happy too. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's so cool. I like that. The translation from Schneel to Schwinn. Yeah. Swaft. Perspective is the pathway to gratitude and appreciation. Smart. I don't know exactly what swaft means, unfortunately. You're gonna have to give me the words. Since you're defensive, as a 25-year-old male is, I'll send you what a SMART goal actually looks like when I'm back in my office later. You're arguing points I'm not trying to make. You have the wrong understanding of it. There are zero limitations to making goals that you can achieve to build. I'm not opposed to that. I'm happy to receive more information from you, the Red Bear. Did I miss a message? Nani? Joe, I thought it meant simply ask what the fuck. Simply ask what the fuck. Yeah, that's a good one, right? It's like, wow, there are blues into purples, into pinks, into oranges. There's no red, technically. Not on my horizon right now. Simply ask what the fuck. Wow, look at that. Right? That's more than enough to me. Sunlight, air, water, food, and thought. Do you have these in your life? Then you will survive. And everything other than those 5 things is a blessing. Be grateful for those blessings, my friends. Agreed. Completely agreed. Brother Joe Schma. This is what we're showing up for, ultimately. You know, and I'm completely content with admitting that I might be wrong. Hey Google, define SMART goals. Let's see again. Maybe I misunderstood it the first time. SMART is a mnemonic acronym giving criteria to guide in the setting of goals and objectives that are assumed to give better result, for example, in project management, employee performance management, and personal development. And then it goes, lorem ipsum, dolor sit amet, senxaturur, adipicing illit. Am I summoning demons right now? Sed du ipsum tempor insintidunt it labor et dolor magna eloqua des at irrere dolor in reprehendret in volat velet esse sedu. That's the top of the SMART goals, and it goes specific elements in the subject to have some purpose and the goals for the business or the company organization. Again, I was very specific about the elements that I need met. Measurable elements in the subjects that have some purposes and goals for the business or the company organization. Very measurable elements in the subjects. Yeah, this is just the same for the achievable. It is achievable. It is relevant, and it is not necessarily time bound. But again, 1,000 years. If I can't do it in 1,000 years, I'm sorry. All right, I'll apologize. But after that 1,000 years is not up, I'm gonna continue with the fractal that I'm showing up for. There are methods to happiness. Showing up is the best way to. Melty, love you, brother. I don't doubt you for a second. And said it yourself through open your mind in other ways. I'm thinking. I'm telling you that I have seminars by Creator Smart Goals. He would be telling you the same thing. I am nothing to do with the quality of your dreams and the goals, but in the way you're trying to implement. I get you, bro. I don't see a problem personally, right? And that is the point I'm trying to make. And I feel like that's where we're also not understanding one another, right? You might see the way I'm achieving or applying SMART goals to my life as wrong, but it brings me happiness, right? In this moment, which means that I get to have this moment by moment happiness as I'm heading towards this future I'm trying to create. And that is the point of today's stream topic. That is the point. Actually allowing ourselves happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment, purpose, true purpose with what our goals are, right? Smart, measurable, achievable, relevant, and then time bound, right? I have a time at which I show up and do it every day, right? It is time bound, even though it is ethereal in the same way, you know. And if it makes me happy in this moment, I find that significantly more valuable than grinding, right? Than doing exponentially more. I could absolutely, in different ways, earn more money, right? There are a bunch of ways. There are more ways now to earn money than there has ever been in the history of humanity, right? That is true, and I agree. But the point, at least for me, isn't to earn money that way, right? It's in large part trying to get away from it. He said, am I summoning demons? I'm happy that you like that as well. The best way to get out of a hole is to stop digging it. There we go. Ah, yes, the good old lorem ipsum, Phil Copy, them's my demons. Impossible Joe, impossible. Let me tell you about the time I tiled our backyard and made a hole and couldn't get out of it. The demon in those smart goals. Dude, I want to shake you so hard. Stop acting persecuted. I'm not acting persecuted, dude. We're trying to share a topic for today, right? Like it's like we're misunderstanding one another. And I'm communicating to you that I think you misunderstand how I see this goal, right? How I see it. And then you go, no, you misunderstand how it is. And I'm like, I get that you think I'm misunderstanding, but I think I was, and then it's like the back and forth. I'm not apprehensive. I'm not fighting you. I'm just saying that I get like there are other smart goals that I've set for myself as well. You know, for instance, when I go through to Pretoria, I'm gonna have a 3-month time frame where I'm going to have to start the business that I'm planning on starting this year, right? And I understand that in that 3 months, I'm gonna have to graft. I'm gonna have to have actual goals. I'm going to have to break those goals up in smaller pieces. I'm going to have actionable steps about what I'm going to do, about who I'm going to approach, about how I'm going to structure my costing, you know, about how I'm going to uh, try and get like multiple people to network with me, right? About the people that I'm going to be, you know, renting the equipment from, for how long, for how much it's going to cost me. I understand. I understand. I'm trying to make a point about what we're doing in the stream right now, right? That this stream is one of my smart goals. You can have more than one smart goal. You know that, right? That's kind of the point. You can have more than one goal. And then you can apply those rules differently because different goals have different expectations, right? The way you measure them, the way you structure them is going to be different depending on which goal you have. Large goals are going to have different ways of showing up for them. Joe, thank you. I couldn't find the words. That is true. You guys are so cute when you're arguing. The exact same point, just different perspectives, right? It's hilarious, Connor. These smart goals and then these cheese goals. Comfortable, happy, excited, empowered, sexy, and explosive. Sounds like a vibe. You do realize smart goals have nothing to do with money, right? I have a smart goal sheet for creating a natural pollinator garden because there's 1,000 steps that have to happen from that goal. Agreed. Completely agreed. I am agreeing with you. I'm not trying to fight you. Everybody gets the cheese goals. Wrong, trust me. You also have to eat lots of cheese. More cheese than people realize. Oh, great. Now my heart is beating as fast, right? Love is true. I never got to smack a little brother, but I'm starting to feel what that would feel like. Love you, dear friend. Capitalism will certainly rattle you if it isn't the way your spirit works, Melty. I have a hard time listening to money driven motivation myself. I understand the value of the process, but my heart works differently than that. Yeah, same for me. And I understand that not all of us live in the same reality, right? I do not live in the reality where I have a kid and I have a mortgage. I do not live in that reality, right? So, from that perspective, my goals are different. And the way I get to approach my goals are different, right? I understand that. I'm not arguing with it. I feel it completely. Trust me, I eat more cheese than cheese can handle. It's like the cheese be like, oh no, Connor is coming for us again. Love is true. I am so cold. I love you. I love you so much. I thank you for showing up with me, for choosing to resonate with this reality. If you want to bring global change, you need 200 small smart goals to happen. Each smart goal is putting a brick on the house. Put enough bricks and you'll have a house. I feel you, bro. Again, my goal is connecting people, right? Like there's a reason we build houses together these days. Sure, you can build a house alone. It's like I feel like, even though you're getting, angry with me, a part of me is getting angry with you as well, Duck Dad. Whereas like you're not listening to what I'm saying the whole stream, right? I was mentioning the whole self-made man thing, and then you were like, yeah, I had to self-made man. And I was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't, right? And now it's the same thing with like, I have to build this house myself. I have to have the 200 goals for myself, and I have to lay the bricks myself. Otherwise, this house will never be built. No, that's not how it needs to work. We already build houses together. If a bunch of people come together to build a house, that house gets built exponentially faster. And you can let's take this, right? Because I can feel you're still there's some apprehension. Two groups. One is one person who decides to build a house. One is a group of 50 people. Let's do 100 people that decide to build a house. This person can work for 2 years day by day by day by day by day working on that house. And this group of 100 people can work 10 days, a month, and then finish the same house. Finish the house before this person who's doing it day by day by day, right? And that's the point I'm trying to make. That none of us are self-made, right? Sure, you can do it that way, but even the bricks, even the mortar that you're going to be used is going to be made by another person. There is no doing it yourself. That is an illusion. Ourselves, something we're getting confused by. And then instead of undoing that confusion, we reiterated. We were like, oh, I'm so confused, but I'm not going to admit I'm confused. I'm going to tell everybody else that they're supposed to be confused in this exact way as well, so that I'm not confused because all of us are confused. So we're the same. So I'm actually okay. I can't believe that. Lol. That's where the explosive part comes in. I love you all so much. Once I'm back to school, I'll try to start doing yoga again. I look forward to seeing you there, Brother Bear. Cheese goals, hooray. Everyone, look around at your world today. Open an old box of memories, or maybe go and pick a flower. Open your eyes and get grateful. We are surrounded by infinite miracles. The sunset today has been so meaningful for me too, Oshma. The miracle of being able to see a sunset, to see the coloring of the sky, the changing of light. Being able to breathe air, being able to feel my skin being cold. So many blessings, things to be grateful for. You guys are both whooshing over each other's head so hard. It's amazing to watch. So it can bring you wonderful, but it's not a smart goal. If my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike. Love is true. I know that Duck Dad is probably behind, so he's still going to be fighting with me mentally, even though I'm going to be chilling out. But I love you. This version of Duck Dad. I see you. I see you. You can't fight me. I'm a screen, right? I get to be like, get to be untouched. I can't touch me. I feel Duck Dad. I'm sorry, bro. I love you. I love you so much. Love is true. If my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike. I love that one. It makes me happy. Oh, I'll see you friends again soon. Took my microphones off. I don't know if they're turned off just yet. No. Love you. Until we do this again. Goodbye, dear friends. Smart goals. Smart goals. And I don't care about your money. It's true. Mr. Shell. For some reason, my comments aren't registering. I think the Wi-Fi is tripping out again. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Grace. Mr. Shell wants to throw gasoline. He said, "End the world hunger is 5 or 6 smart goals tops." There we go. That's not too bad actually. Shake yourself if you feel stagnant or lost. Snap. If you are here right now to receive these words, I love you.